they get to collect the views of young people? I mean, because they have the largest population in this country, but they need to be listened to as well.
You remember under Obasanjo, there was a friend of mine who was 50 years then. He represented the youth. He was appointed by Obasanjo's government to represent the youth at the age of 50. So the youth will always be a critical segment of any discussion. When you remember Shegu Okowo, when he was president of NONS in those days at the Constituent Assembly, the then chairman of the conference saw him dressed in his red, said, "Who are you? You look like a dancer or a musician." He said, "No, I represent the students." Actually, if you ignore the students, you have made a big mistake. It means you have not even looked at the issues, because they are the militants, the youths, they are the sportsmen, they are the go-go people, they are the happy people, they are the musicians, they are the scholars also, but they are the rulers of tomorrow. So if they miss getting them in now, that's a problem. And where do you start? NANS today, I think they have up to 10 NANS, 10 presidents.
Oh dear.
So I don't know how they will manage it. Now you talk of the artisans. They must have their own representation. You talk of, NLC can always come up, but remember NLC is also a constituted body.
They're part of the people.
I don't know about that.
But
let me put it this way. All constituted authorities end up being a mafia.
Wow.
All constituted authorities end up being a mafia. What do I mean? If you ask an NLC to go and bring the people today, it will not come for you and you and you. To look for those who agree with them and those who work with them. That is what mafia is all about.
And others outside that sphere will disagree with that.
Of course. You see them as not them. They are the people who decide what will happen. And this is where the National Conference comes in. Those who don't have opportunity of going to the National Assembly or belonging to any of these constituted authorities are the ones asking for a voice. That's why there is agitation.
Yeah, but if you also look at it, people will say that some political parties in the past have also been in the vanguard of asking for a national conference. So do you think that it will be fair now to say that this is not about politics or it's not about politicians, this is about the people? Will it be fair to totally exclude them? And are they not also Nigerian people?
Well, nobody will exclude political parties, but that will not be the basis for representation. Let me just tell you, if you ask PDP, what delegates, they want to control all delegates from their area, but that's not the intention of the conference. The conference is that freedom to speak.
I think we should be saying that should not be the intention, because we still do not know eventually what the recommendations of this advisory committee will be.
We better air our views now before they conclude. Otherwise it will be late. I know that there are some political parties who started with this agitation. As soon as President Jonathan said, now we'll go for it, they said, no, that's a time-wasting one.
What do you make of their suspicion?
Well, politicians are politicians. Let me put it this way. If you allow your opponent to define you, he will define you in very, very bad colors.
Is that their policy?
That's of all politicians, whether in America or in Nigeria. The Republicans did everything to bring down Obama recently because they control the lower house. In Nigeria today, if President Jonathan goes left, APC, the main opposition, automatically goes right.
Does it always have to be that way? Even if there's one thing that everyone should agree on that is good for the country?
Well, let me put it this way. Politicians will always be politicians.
Are you saying then, sir, that there is no merit to their disagreement?
No, but you have to look twice at whatever argument a politician is bringing. Where is he coming from? What does he want? Where is he going?
Are they not also looking at it from that aspect, that ultimately Mr. President is a politician, even though he's president of all, and that's where they are coming from?
Your enemy will never set an agenda that will suit you, remember. In politics, the opposition wants to bring down the government. So anything it can do to paint the government in bad light, it will do. Which is why the government says we want water for everybody. They say, you and your contractors are going to steal the money. So they will object to that. because they want you to fail. That's the essence of politics.
Wanting the other person to fail?
Jaw, and have an agreement. But here we go to extremes. Just like the Republicans did, not just in Nigeria, so don't run yourself down too much. The Republicans nearly brought down essential services until Barack Obama used one word I like. He said, or an expression, he said, "They are holding America to ransom." And that thing hit the nail on the head. So in this country also, if we can really have politicians who are moving towards being statesmen, then we'll succeed. But if they are merely agitators, agitating for the sake of agitation, then if you tell them that President Jonathan woke up from the right side this morning, all you hear is, no, it's from the left side, automatically.
No, the reason I'm asking that is, you said we should take a second look at their, their
whatever
objections.
Says.
Yes, always take a second look at the objections. But we're saying, with regards to this particular matter, is it possible for us to take an objective look at it?
We, the people, who are the beneficiaries of the conference, will be objective in the way we look at it. But not the politicians, and which is what we are talking.
Have you seen it? I mean, I'm just wondering if you've seen the objections.
Oh, I've had all the time wasting, this and that and that. But I think people want that chance to vent their grievances.
What about the part where they said, look, if the recommendations are going to go to the National Assembly, then there's no point?
Well, let me put it this way. If you have a discussion and you don't have ways of carrying that discussion to the implementation table, then it's just like what you discussed in a beer parlor.
Yeah, but it looks as though that implementation table has already been predetermined.
By the Constitution, not by Mr. President.
But his comments.
No, his own comment actually. Remember this national conference? It's one of those conferences the President has the jurisdiction to organize. The Constitution gives him that power to discuss with the people, which is what he's doing. So what he does with the discussion will always be determined by the National Assembly.
Yeah, but
let me give you one small example. We are talking of derivation. Some of us are saying 50% of resources must go to those who own the land. Others are saying 10%. For it to change to whatever we recommend at the National Conference, you must go back to the National Assembly. There will be no fundamental change in this country unless there is an amendment of the Constitution.
But that is what is ongoing right now by the National Assembly.
Well, their own is not tailored towards this National Conference. As a matter of fact, the amendments right now are not going far enough. I will just give you one, which most people have not even looked at. They have a law still pending, or a bill pending, in the National Assembly on marriages, that marriage is actually between a man and a woman. And you know those who are financed by all these big corporations are fighting them. But unless the Constitution is amended under the fundamental rights against discrimination on the basis of gender, all they are doing will be rubbish. We, the people, if we have a chance to talk in the National Conference, it's one of the recommendations. But it takes the National Assembly to amend the Constitution to reflect whatever decisions we have reached. And some people are saying,
for you, this is not about writing a new constitution. This is about amending the current constitution.
Well, it's difficult to write a new constitution because the same constitution also says what will happen if we want changes. If you want to come to power in a way that is not planned, not stated, and not directed in that constitution, it becomes a revolution.
not a referendum.
No. That constitution has nothing to do with referendum.
Yeah, isn't that so? If the people
Have decided
wanted something
Yes.
that is not in the constitution, doesn't mean it cannot happen.
Which is why we have legislators. Remember, the horrible situation here is that the military gave us a constitution. And it starts with we, the people, and they signed it into law. It is on that basis that we are discussing here today. It is on